Good evening. Welcome to The Next Word. I'm your host, Chris Warnke, and tonight we have two special guests, the Ambassador from the Republic of Algeria, Dr. and His Excellency, Madjid Bouguerra, as well as Dr. IsmaelChikhoun, who is the CEO and President of the US-Algerian Business Council. Algeria, for those of you that don't know, is the largest country on the continent of Africa, as well as in the Arab world. And it's become a true hub of global activity in many areas. And tonight we're going to hear about them, and we're very fortunate. Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited that you're here to talk about Algeria because it's a country that it's the largest in the continent. It's moving forward on so many levels. Innovation, technology, healthcare, and it's exciting. It's exciting times, I think, for the country and for you. Of course, you are the diplomat's diplomat.
Thank you very much.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about what your plans are. I know what your immediate plans are, of course, the future plans, but as an ambassador, it's part of your portfolio to obviously to promote your country.
Indeed, thank you very much for having me. Algeria, it's true, is the largest country in Africa with a population of 42 million. It's one of the big producers of oil and gas. We used to export a lot of gas and oil to the United States. But since 2014, we have had the brutal decline in oil prices. Right. On the other side, we had the shale revolution here in the US, which means the US are importing less from Algeria. And at the same time, our revenues are less and less since the price of oil has fallen a lot. But at the same time, we decided that it's time for us to try to diversify the economy of the country. It's not safe, it's not wise to keep depending on hydrocarbons and rather try to explore the huge potential of Algeria. And we started for the last 4 years exploring with our US partners how to explore for the benefit of both of us the potential of Algeria in many other sectors. And today, you rightly said that Algeria is booming in many other sectors. You take the renewable energy, you take the ITC, you take the pharmaceutical and small medical devices, you take agriculture, you take transportation, you take the banking sectors. We start really working very closely with our American friends. Not only because we have an excellent political relations with the US dating back to 1795.
Amazing.
That was exactly on the 5th of September 1795 when we signed our Treaty of Peace and Amity. President Washington signed that treaty. And today, based on the fact that the political relations is quite excellent, based on the fact that American companies, mainly from the oil sectors, know very well Algeria, we decide to together to explore other sectors. And it started already giving quite good results. In agriculture, we decided to move out of the European model based on small farming to the American model, big and large farming, which goes well with the size of Algeria. We start also in the pharmaceutical sectors. Most, if not all, American pharmaceutical companies are present in Algeria, either producing locally or selling products to Algeria. And we also start on two other sectors, which are also important, the renewable energies, like the solar and wind, but also we are expecting to explore together the huge deposit of shale gas in Algeria.
Oh, that's fabulous.
The shale gas of Algeria is the third in the world. And ITC. ITC, I mean the the U.S. Is the heart of the ITC, and we decided to see how we can work together, knowing that in some parts of your country we have quite a big number of Algerians who successfully came here, like in the Silicon Valley. We are working not only with them only, but with the American companies to try to make Algeria a real hub for the ITC too.
Well, one of those successful people is sitting next to you, Dr. Chikoune,
Indeed,
who I've had the wonderful pleasure to learn more about Algeria, and couldn't be a better representative and a better advocate for the country. And what you're doing, Dr. Chikoune, with the US-Algerian Business Council is terrific. I mean, you've opened up a whole new market. As they say, Algeria is open for business, but if it wasn't for you here making these kinds of
absolutely
pronouncements and activities, it wouldn't be as successful as it is today. So the US-Algerian Business Council was started
in 2002.
2000, right?
So, thank you, Christine,
Yes,
for giving us
welcome.
this
It's
opportunity
such a pleasure.
to host us here for this evening, and it's a very pleasure to be here and representing the US-Algeria Business Council, which, as you said, was created in 2002 with an initiative from the two ambassadors, Algerian ambassador at that time here in the US and the US ambassador, to initiate this business council. I think here in the US, this is the way when two countries do trade. Most of them have this business council, which is the mission to promote and strengthen the trade relations between the two countries. And we really work closely to promote Algeria here in the US as we promote the US in Algeria. So what we do is, as the ambassador said, when we started the council, it was mainly with the oil and gas companies. This is like the first sector where it was a huge trade between the US and Algeria if you go back to the 70s and 80s. And we succeeded in diversifying. That's why we added many other sectors. And the last one, it was the agriculture, since we had some farmers from Idaho and from California to really farm a large scale, about 20,000 hectares, and this is one of them. And we're expecting to have one before the end of the year, a second one. And again, it is about to diversify and how we can get more attraction here in the US to showcase Algeria. Algeria is open for business, and we see, I can tell you that currently there is 114 US companies active in Algeria in many sectors. And the way we do that is to promote US companies in Algeria as we do promote Algerian companies here. So we organize a lot of events, and most of them are organized with the Algerian embassy here. And we organize these trade missions, which we take companies, US companies in Algeria, and they can meet with the key decision makers there. We can meet with their Algerian counterpart in the public side and also in the private side. And this is the way, so far, we succeeded in many success stories in different sectors. You mentioned the healthcare. Yes, most of the pharmaceutical companies, all of them are active in Algeria. Really? Yes, all of them, even the one in biotech. So again, it is the aim, and this is what we do at the council, is really to increase more and more the trade and diversify towards all the other sectors, and even education. Even education, we start discussing with some US universities to how they can partner with Algerian universities and how to get some faculties and students to work together in some programs. So yes, I can testify that the relations in terms of trade are very good. We start to get some attention now that Algeria is open for business. There is a lot of opportunities, and this is why we want to have US companies there. Algerians, they do recognize the quality of the US product, and they recognize also the expertise of this US corporation. So I think this is the best that can happen for Algeria, is to have this cooperation extended to many of the sectors. And again, Algeria is open for business, and we would love to see more and more companies here in the U.S., and mainly the small and medium-sized companies.
Which would be terrific. And you're in the hub right here in Maryland. You're in the hub of the biotech industry, really, and it's just growing and expanding. And this is certainly,
It is.
from
It
a
is.
Maryland perspective, I know they would very much like this kind of relationship.
Absolutely, and Algeria has a lot of universities and,
Yes.
and also human capital, very important.
Right.
You know, there is every year close to 1.5 to 1.6 million students finishing their, actually they graduate from
Wow.
universities, and this is why to have this cooperation with these incubators and with the system to the cluster, how to
Absolutely.
define a cluster and how we can set up same thing in Algeria with the help of these incubators and clusters from Boston or from Silicon Valley or from Maryland also, since we see a lot of the U.S. companies in high tech here in Maryland,
yeah.
and we would love to develop more and more of this cooperation.
And your expo from Algeria to Washington is going to be in September.
Yes.
And then, of course, you're going to take as many companies as possible to Algeria in October. But you're very active. I mean, it's just,
Absolutely. I think this is the way. This is
That's
the way
you do it. Yeah.
to engage. This is to
Absolutely.
organize a lot of events, and for the first time, and this is with the support of the Algerian embassy here,
Yes.
and mainly under the leadership of the Ambassador Bouguerra, we're going to have for the first time here in the U.S. the Algeria Week. It's going to be during 4 days,
Right.
an exhibition at the Ronald Reagan building of all the Algerian products, from food product to electronics, to appliances, and then to art, painting. So I think for Washington, D.C., they will discover
But
everything
it's-
about Algeria. From the food, we're going to have to test even the couscous, and also from the dates.
I was going
as
to
you
say
know,
the dates are famous. The
Yeah.
dates are famous, right, Ambassador? I mean,
It
you have
is.
the best dates, I should say.
Absolutely,
That.
I
The best
think-
dates in the world.
I think they are the best in the world.
I love that.
Unfortunately, they have been tried in the Middle East. They have been tried in California,
Yes.
but they didn't give
Really?
the same quality of date. I don't know. Maybe we have a special
The soil.
local environment
Right.
and for the dates. But honestly, it will be an event which will help Americans discover Algeria.
Algeria.
I know there are not many Americans who know Algeria. They will really discover Algeria, the real Algeria, not only from what we produce, but what our artists produce in terms of handicrafts, our culinary culture, our ballet, our popular dances, our music, everything will be here during that week. Hopefully, the Americans will not only discover that, they will like and love that, and
And
probably
wanna come.
it will encourage them
And
to
to
go
come.
and discover
Absolutely.
Algeria.
Want to
yeah.
be coming. So with that high note, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Welcome back. You're watching The Next Word. I'm your host, Chris Warnke. Tonight we're having a conversation about Algeria. The Algerians believe that you seek knowledge from the cradle to the tomb. And tonight we have two very distinguished gentlemen to talk about that and about the country and its plans. We have Dr. IsmaelChikhoun, who is the president and CEO of the US-Algerian Council, as well as His Excellency Madjid Bouguerra, who is the ambassador from Algeria. And I say two distinguished gentlemen, who probably the best representatives for the country.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's a prophet. The prophets of what you seek knowledge from the cradle
Absolutely.
to the tomb, which I think is a beautiful saying. Beautiful.
You extract it from the Quran, the holy
The
book.
Quran, yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. And I like your flag.
Thank you very
I
much.
like the symbol of white and green. Of course, white being purity, and then the green being the Islamic color.
You know, Christian, that day after tomorrow it will be the day of the independence of the United States.
Yes.
The day after tomorrow, the 5th of July, is the independence of Algeria.
Ah, my God.
So close
So
to
it's very
each
close.
other. And we have fought for our independence, like you have fought for your independence. And the meaning of the flag is that, because we fought for our independence after 132 years of French colonialism. And
Right.
at the independence in 1962,
1962.
people were expecting so much from the independence, rightly. And that's why we are trying to meet the expectation of our population, although sometimes they are very costly, but we are doing our best to meet those expectations.
So, but November 1st was
The day when we started our
stating-
war of liberation,
liberation, right? Right. In 1962,
1962 was the independence.
right? And you've been occupied by, the Ottomans and the German tribes and, the Byzantiums and
The Vandal
oh my God, it goes on.
added to our own what we call Amazigh,
But
Berber,
Berber, right? The Berber
culture
right.
also.
Right.
So that has given, I hope, a very rich
Yes.
diversity in Algeria.
Right. Now it's a beautiful. So, but Dr. Chikoune, you're an educator really by first, and I know you studied here in the United States, and you're a physician by training.
Yes.
And so you understand the value of education. And I know Algeria is trying to make a major. They're being very aggressive about making sure that they educate the youth,
yes,
which is a sizable portion of the population, actually.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I think this is something where the government, after just the independence, they wanted to give access for all the population to have a free education and free health care. I think this is unique in the region, and this is why, as I said, there is always every year 1.5 students coming to apply for jobs, and very skilled people, very skilled students, because they have a very important curriculum, and this is why the human capital is important, and this is why when we talk to some companies, US companies, we say, you know what, once you go to Algeria, you're gonna find a lot of skilled people, really skilled, and especially these days now, with this new generation, they do speak English. Some of them speak English now. It did switch from second language French to the English, and this is why it is important. This is one of the elements very important when you consider to set up a business. Is first of all,
of course, English.
To know the
just to give you an example, in July 1962, we had 500 students in one university.
Right.
And today we have 1.8 million students in 56 universities.
Wow. 56?
56 universities.
Wow,
and I was this afternoon with some friends from Georgetown University, from George Washington University. We are trying to encourage them to partner with Algerian universities. And Algerians are so fond of English, are so fond of learning from the Americans. You don't believe it really. And there are huge prospects for American universities.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
I hope we'll
look
be
at here.
in order to achieve something.
And we have so many, we have University of Maryland and of course,
yeah,
University of District of Columbia and Howard, and we have so many.
And thanks to our common friend Kristen, we are in contact with the
University of Maryland Institute. I have to put a plug in for them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a graduate of Maryland.
Yeah.
But our healthcare program and our technology, our engineering, it's superb.
Absolutely.
It's one of the best, I think, in the country. So this is very exciting, to be able to explore these kinds of opportunities. I think with the university, so I'm happy to hear we can grow and engage more with the universities here.
I have agreed with Dr. Chikhoune that during the Algerian week here in Washington, we will bring some people from the Ministry of Higher Education, from the universities,
excellent.
public and private, and put them together
Yes.
with
With the
their
universities.
counterparts here, the
Excellent.
University of
Yes.
Maryland,
Yes.
and see how they
Yes.
can work
Yes.
together. And we'll
Yes.
be there to help and
That'd be
assist.
great.
Yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
great idea, great idea. So, Dr. Chikhoune, I mean, I know you're a Marylander. You
Yes.
live here.
Yes.
And we were able to attract you
Yes.
from when you started you went to school at
Okay.
Berkeley.
The Berkeley was just to do some
Just a little
courses.
stuff.
Yes, because when I got there, actually, I had to work at the Silicon Valley in a company. We were developing a medical software. But this is back to the 90s.
Yeah.
90s. But I'm a fan of the Turpin here because
The
my
Terrapin. Oh, good, because we love Terrapin.
because my three daughters graduated from Maryland.
Oh, my God. It's so
Yeah, and one of them is a journalist.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
great. That's a great school of journalism.
Journalism, absolutely.
Because I tout Maryland all the
Absolutely,
time.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. And it is. This is the way of course, we try to get, as the ambassador mentioned, about this discussion that we're having with the universities here. We're going to have another one soon with the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, because
good.
they
Yes,
have
yes.
they have some department where they really have a lot of experience in the agriculture,
Oh, absolutely.
in
Agri-
the construction,
Yeah.
and this is where there
Yes.
is a need.
Construction management.
Management,
agriculture, yes,
So
absolutely.
we're going to meet with them also and see how to find a way in working together. And
Absolutely.
Algerians are really keen to find the right partners especially when it comes to education. It's very
Well, it's
important.
key.
Yes, absolutely.
key.
And it was. There are some already. Some university, I think, of Florida working currently in Algeria, but we want to expand that to major universities there, 56 universities. We need to find
Absolutely.
the
A lot of
ones that
ties.
can,
Yeah.
And UMES, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, they also have a very good aviation practice.
yes, absolutely.
And
yeah,
they have
the
a
aerospace.
hotel tourism management school. So I know tourism, of course, is something that Algeria would like to focus on and bring more people in terms of,
Indeed.
the tourism. I
Indeed.
mean, that's huge,
Absolutely.
certainly. And for what you all offer, I mean, of course, your cuisine and your couscous.
And I really tell you that I don't know whether it's the right word, but Algeria is a virgin country. Our neighbors are open to tourism for so many years. Algeria was counting on hydrocarbons to develop itself. But we discovered lately that we have a great wealth with tourism. It's a huge country. Algeria, you can go from the snow in the Mediterranean mountain
Right.
to the desert
To the desert, right.
throughout the year.
Amazing.
You have one of the most beautiful beaches in the area.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
You have beautiful people. You have diversity of culture. And of course, you have the biggest museum
It's one of them.
in the desert.
Right.
It's the biggest, the largest
Yes.
one in the world.
Yes, this is amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know that Americans are very fond of that, and there are so many things, so many places to see in Algeria. We just, as I said, 2-3 years ago started, and we need to. You mentioned some of the high schools in tourism. We need to get some experience from them, help from them, get our young people coming and studying there, getting the true training there, so that they can help launch this tourism industry in Algeria. And the prospects are very good, not Only for the Europeans, which are very close to Algeria, but also to the Americans and to the Chinese, because they start also coming in Algeria. And the industry there start booming there in Algeria.
And we talked a little bit about the smart cities and the conference that was held on June 27th, 28th in Algeria.
Absolutely.
And just the whole emphasis now on technology, of course, innovation, and in terms of just promoting the whole idea of smart cities. And you kind of, in a way, I heard something today, someone was talking, they said, in a way, North Africa, but also countries like Algeria are leapfrogging in a way, over technology, and it's exciting. And the growth is going to be immense in terms of these kinds of initiatives. I mean,
the last summit on the smart cities in Algiers got about 400 to 600 people together. We are just learning on how to make the ITC at the service of the development of big city like Algiers. And I believe that we are learning fast because some of our American friends really recognize the fact that we are doing good.
yes, yes.
And we got probably the best expert in the world during that conference. Some of them, or at least some of the companies which they are leading, are partnering now with the Algerians. We cannot really now put aside the ITC when they can bring a lot to the development of any given country and any given cities, particularly when it comes to big, large city like Algiers, which is over 5 million inhabitants.
Yeah. And the country's what, 42 million?
42 million, yes. Yeah.
Right. So, and Algiers is, so this is very exciting.
It is.
See him
It is, and
extremely successful
it is, and
conference, and
it was not only very successful, but I think our own people, young people who participated in that conference,
about this, yes.
absolutely, have been energized, and they learned a lot, and they networking quite well with the participants, certainly from. Do you know how many Americans went there to that conference? Close to 85 people went there, and I think that was one of the best results of that conference.
At that conference, just and that kind of synergy between
absolutely,
the young people. That's really
especially for the young people, really.
Yeah, so that's that's the way of the future. I mean, it's
absolutely, and you know, as in any countries, the rate of unemployment among the young people is a concern for us.
Yes,
and we need to get them into the world of ITC, what they can do with it, and I think it's the prospect can be very good for them.
The world is the oyster. Well, I'm going to give you, Dr. Chikhoune, the last word.
You know, I think we need to let people know that it's no longer a hidden country there.
Yes, yes.
And it's open really for business, really open for business, and mainly with the U.S. Because with a very tradition, even in the past, you know, Algerians, some of them came here to the big universities and become today excellent managers here, and also CEOs of major companies here in the U.S. And also with the help of them, this diaspora, Algerian diaspora, to work also with the Americans on how we can increase Algeria. There is a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities in many sectors, as they are currently upgrading and updating the investmental law to allow more incentives and to become very attractive at the international level, using these international standards in terms of investmental law. I think that will increase more and more, and this is why we invite always companies to consider Algeria. It's time to really take another look in Algeria. There is a lot of opportunities, and Algerians are really willing to work with the U.S., and I can witness that. And we see today more and more companies calling and inquiring about Algeria, and this is the right time. I think it's the right time now to be there.
Very exciting times. Well, thank you both. Wish we could talk more. I'm going to bring you back in 6 months, and we're going to talk about how far.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has all progressed, but thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
You are welcome. My honor. My pleasure.
Thank you.
You're watching The Next Word. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.